Hey, True Believers England. Hey, what's up? How you doing, kids? So I started this up. Had a couple of things I wanted to talk about. I watched a couple of Perch videos. Go figure. I used to say he like one day I would mention something and the next day he would do a video about it. I'm kind of going in the opposite direction. I'm actually looking up his videos now to kind of remind me what was it I was going to talk about? Because I watched one video. It was about why don't women comics sell? And yeah, lots of great women superheroes. Why don't they sell? He said a couple of things in there. And it wasn't like I was like, oh, wow, okay, I need to talk about specifically that issue. But I do have a couple of things to say that he didn't. And a lot of it, and that's really kind of what comes of it. Sometimes you watch another person's video and you're inspired to say something or to bring something up, or maybe it's just different. Actually, one of the things I do believe he was mentioning, why don't female comics sell? They never really have. Going way back, even when they actually gave time, they gave She-Hulk 25 issues. Ms. Marvel got around the same. You know, they never really hit. Well, Spider-Woman got 50. You know, that was pretty cool. So why don't they sell? So you could point to modern day, and you could say, well, of course, there's never any story. There was story back in the day, but like I said, they got at least 25, 50. Captain Marvel ran modern day, but I don't know if it was because people were reading it or if it was because they didn't want to admit that nobody was reading it. It's the same with the Black Panther. And actually, it's the same with the Black Panther. One of the reasons that I didn't hear Perch talk about was that when women star in comics, the whole thing is not so much, they don't really tackle popular themes. You know, the universal theme. With great power comes great responsibility. If you have the ability to help, you're responsible to help. It's not necessarily real, but that's what it goes for. Superman is, even though you have the power to, his real superpower, I've always said, is that he always does good. No, in all situations, he does. He will always default to doing that. Women write women, they make it about the patriarchy these days. They make it about the struggle. Same with any black writer that's writing a black character. There's no other story. Remember a couple of years ago, there was that, what was that movie about magical Negroes, and everybody thought, oh, we're going to get our, black people, we're going to get their own Harry Potter and all. And it just turned out to be the struggle. It's the same story over and over and over again. And when you watch things like, if something is bad the first time, the sequel does not get views. It just doesn't. So after a while, it's like, look, we've seen this. We've seen this movie. We've read this book. We've heard this story before. It wasn't good the first time. We don't think it's going to be the second time. And that's what happens. Look at the Suicide Squad. Personally, anyway, I enjoyed the first movie, but I could turn my brain off and, things go boom on screen. I was entertained. I've seen it since. It's not a great movie. I've never said it was, but it's an entertaining one while the film lasts. Okay. All right. Hello to Faye Winbush. How you doing? And Jim's in the house. What's up? It's the same thing. So you get Suicide Squad comes out. Yes, it made a bundle of money. It was popular. But the cultural impact was what the people were just like, yeah, it wasn't great, kids. I mean, we all saw it. We all know, right? We didn't have some sort of fever dream. That was a bad movie. And so the conversation was how bad that was. So James Gunn has his now. I know a lot of people don't like James Gunn, but I thought he did a pretty good job on the Suicide Squad, but nobody gave a shit. I mean, and it's like nobody gave a shit. Nobody went and saw that movie. And that's how it happens now. We get comic books that star female characters. I want comic books that star female characters. We just need them with better writers. And what's going to happen is we need what we need to happen with that is this new even if it's a female writer, if it's a good writer, we need that person, that story to have a cultural impact, to have something where people go, holy shit, that was good. Which nowadays on the internet, you're not going to get unanimous anything. One thing, look, this is a regular live stream, so I'm talking about my first subject here. Whatever you guys want to talk about, that's going to change, you know. So whatever you guys talk about, that's what we're going to end up talking about. I've got the Millie Alcock, the Supergirl stuff. I've got her stuff fired up as well. And I wanted to talk about, I did not watch the video, but I also wanted to talk about not the video, but the thumbnail. The thumbnail is now my thumbnail for this video of something that Wes over at Thinking Critical did. So we got to talk about a few things, but that was one of the points I wanted to make as far as this whole why don't women comics sell? For a while, like I said, 25 issues. What was it? 25 issues, 26 for or around 25 issues for Ms. Marvel, 25 issues for She-Hulk, 50 for Spider-Woman. Even back in the day, Supergirl only lasted 12. You know, both of those were good. Both those are really good runs. So we can't exactly point and go, wow, that one was awesome. What was it? I think Spider-Girl in the 2000s. Didn't she last until 100 issues? That was pretty cool. Marvel Comics is finished by quality and quantity, Faye Winbush says. Okay, let me talk about this. So they had a big shakeup apparently in Marvel Comics. Look, if you're not getting rid of Tom Brevoort, you're not getting fixed. It's just not going. Everybody's, I've heard others, I've read articles where like, oh, they're mad now. They're going to change comics. If you don't get rid of the fucking editors that are allowing all this shit to happen, it ain't shit changing. Nothing's changing. Yeah, I have a drinking problem. As far as marketing goes, I'm still waiting for photo interviews with Miley Alcock actually smiling or saying how happy she is to make it. No, I know, right? Which I'm going to say this. I said this about, what's her name? Rachel Zegler. And I'll say this about Miley Alcock too. I don't know how much of this is her, and I don't know how much of this is studio. If you watch the beginning of the Rachel Zegler thing where she was in that interview with, what's her name? Gal Gadot. Both of them are like, yeah, okay, we're modern. We're doing all the modern stuff. Woohoo, modern. You know, I would paid that interviewer to go, so you're ditching 80 years of the themes that you're ditching all of the themes that made Snow White a classic for 80 years and catching on to the modernity, excuse me, that's already being played out. That would be awesome. I would love to have heard somebody say that. But if you watch the beginning, you've got Rachel Zegler. Are you doing the shh to me or him? Oh, you got your finger to your lips. So I thought you were trying to say shush. Okay. Because he ain't shushing. He might have to go to his cage. So anyway, if you watch the two of them in the beginning when all that Snow White shit started, both of them were in on it. And then slowly Gal Gadot sort of did the Homer Simpson into the bushes and just let Zegler run her mouth. And I know part of it was also that Zegler was like, death to Israelis, and, Gal Gadot. But the thing is, Miley Alcock, there might be some of that happening. That might have some of the studio interference going on with her. I'm not saying all, but it might have. You got to shush, boy. You shush. There might be some of that to it. But then, of course, they don't know when to shut up. What we got? Nothing but poor quality books from House Style Comics, comic book staple company, says Faye Winbush. And at least Rachel smiled in her interviews. And even though she was a cancer to Disney, she at least looked happy. I'll tell you what, I'm not a hater of Rachel Zegler. I think she needs to shut up. I think she's a talented girl. She was really good in West Side Story. That was another movie that bombed. And why not? I mean, Steven Spielberg announced, hey, I'm going to make sure you don't understand half of the movie if you're not a Spanish speaker. As far as Marvel is concerned, and we'll get to that in just a little bit, it's been dying for years, or it's been dead. One or the other. Pick it. Because I'm really trying to stay on why the female books, and the female books is both. It's not just Marvel. It's not just DC. What, Power Girl? I think Power Girl, didn't she make it into the 30s or 40s in the 2000s? I think she had one. I mean, no, but goddamn, what are they doing? I mean, Fire and Ice recently, I read that. And I thought, holy crap, this is exactly what I was worried about and what I was talking about, because they have Fire and Ice. Oh, we're going to Smallville. We're going to be the protectors of Smallville. It's Superman's hometown, which why would they even know that? Oh, and then when they're there, they're like, hey, let's go to a drag show and let's bring Martha Kent, who was happy to be there. What in the fucking 80 years of history with Martha Kent makes you think she'd want to go to some story time drag hour lunch? Let's see. Pistachio's really happy. Yeah, but I don't like party. Yeah, he really is. He really is. All right, let me explain my thumbnail. Oh, my chair just fell. Let me explain the thumbnail. A couple of days or a week ago or so, I'm scrolling through. I didn't stop on the video because I couldn't get past the thumbnail. It was Wes, and he's got his He-Man Woman Hater Club face on. That's what I always think of when I see that, because Spanky of the Little Rascals always kind of bunched his face up and goes, we're the He-Man Woman Haters. So when he did that, that's what comes to mind. I know that sounds disrespectful. I am joking about it, but it is what it is. I don't mean any disrespect. I like Wes, and when I see his videos, when I watch his videos, I like his videos. But this one just kind of, it made me laugh because it had him, He-Man Woman Hater, and it was like, and maybe I'm remembering wrong, but it says the beginning of the end. I'm like, dude, you've got 10, 12, 14, 20, 100,000 thumbnails that already said that Marvel was dead, and now it's the beginning of the end. I mean, I get it. You have to make a clickbait thumbnail. You do. You have to have a clickbait title. You have to stand out and put some way for people to click on so they watch and they enjoy your videos. And so I get that part of it. But I've always had a hard time because I'm like, if you ever hear me talk, I'll say, well, they all did this. Well, except for so and so and so and so. I can't just leave that out there without we got to focus in on the truth and everything. So when I saw that, all I could think of is, how can you put that title out knowing that you've put out Marvel is already dead videos? I mean, is it the beginning of the end? Is it the middle of the beginning of the end? Is it the beginning of the middle of the end? Where are we standing with this being the death of Marvel? Did Marvel already die? Because I've seen so many people, Marvel is already dead. Or did this change now kill it? Or is this change now starting to kill it? Where are we exactly when it comes to the death of comics and Marvel in particular? Because it's been announced dead in hundreds. I will, you know what? Honestly, I don't know, but I will guess hundreds of thousands, if not 800,000 thumbnails and titles. I've done a couple of them. Marvel is dead. Marvel hates you. They hate you. These guys hate you. Oh my God, can you believe how many people hate you that make these things? And by the way, I don't think they're 100% wrong on the hate. I really don't. What do we got? Most runs last 5 issues. If they're I actually don't think they make comic books anymore for the collector. which also, you know, it goes to modern day collecting. Modern day collecting is this right here. You know, I've got it. This is how I collect. Sometimes I'll find a book and I'll say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna keep that in my collection. I don't have a lot of boxes that are filled with my comics. I don't, as a matter of fact, I don't have any. They're for the auction. But when it comes down to it, this right here, very few people are collecting this. Very, very few people want this. And I'm not just talking about Conan. I'm talking about a single issue with a story in it. You know, this, I could have picked up any. Conan is what came up. When it comes to Key Collector, fuck Key Collector, by the way. The people who run it have their own auctions. And it's funny how they tend to have books that seem to be in the hot 10 this time for their auction next week. But it seems like people aren't filling out the long runs anymore. People aren't looking for the good story. We do the auctions every Saturday, and yes, if I have a book like this on the shelf, I want to get that price. Look, that's the way it is. I get that. But it seems that when you're talking about collecting anymore, it seems like story and interior art, I don't even know if it's second and third. When it comes to collecting, is it a key issue? I think that's number one. Is it a good variant, or is it a popular variant? That's number two. Forget about the fact that most variants, by the way, aren't worth shit after their time in the sun. And what about these blind bag variants? Aside from the one they announced, there's only one of 100 in this. What's going on? I've got a couple of Mark Spears monster books coming. I'm going to be selling them for around $5. That's it. But people go freaking nuts for the blind bag thing. I get it. There's a little bit of gambling to it. It's like playing the lottery. It's like the scratch offs. My wife loves scratch offs. I know I could make her happy if I just buy a copy. Hey, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. You get that endorphin thing, you know? I don't know. Let's see. Diamond distribution is dead. Who isn't these days? Just like people were saying DC Comics were dead 5 years ago. Well, I'll tell you what. When Rebirth was out, I was doing these videos based on the sales. I got it from Bleeding Cool. Bleeding Cool would call people shops from around. I got it from Bleeding Cool and Amazon's digital sales to figure out what were the top 10 or top 20 comic book sales. And when Rebirth started, and for a good until Bendis hit, DC Comics was kicking Marvel's ass. I hear they're doing it right now as well. Did little man tag me? No. So I'm glad to see DC's back on top. Occasionally, I think people need a reminder that they have the most popular comic book superheroes in the world, even with the Marvel movies. Even with the Marvel movies in DC, it's Batman, it's Superman, Flash. You know, even with the Marvel movies, more people know Batman and Superman than Thor and Iron Man. It just is the way it is. Warner Brothers has mishandled DC Comics since they fucking got them. There should have been cartoon after cartoon. There should have been movie after movie. Warner Brothers with the DC IP could have been as big as Disney. Absolutely. I 100% believe that. All they had to do was put out animated DC movies. That's it. Let's see. Remember the good old days when we had Wizard Magazine? Con Lives says, yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Let's see. Hype versus quality. They run its course. Yeah. Oh, Warner Brothers was horrible. And also Warner Brothers, by the way, I think it's kind of funny because you'll get stories like Jack Black is thought for Green Lantern. One of the things that they would do is they would just put up a list of hot actors. and then they go through it. Nobody was actually, oh, well, you know what? Who would make a good Green Lantern? Jack Black. By the way, that is actually a headline. But what it is, they've got a list of A-listers. They've got it's a whiteboard kind of thing, and okay, that guy's not good, that guy's not good, that guy's not good. To come down to, it's either Nathan Fillion or Ryan Reynolds. Well, you know, everybody wants Nathan Fillion. Let's go for Ryan Reynolds, and yeah, that should be good. So yeah, Warner Brothers has been just in that up for a long time. DC is finally, not still, but finally kicking Marvel's ass again, because for a while Marvel was destroying DC. Hey boy, how you doing? You gonna go to sleep now? Whenever he gets this close, he's doing one of two things. He wants to groom my nose, I kid you not, or he'll start taking a nap and he rests his head on my nose, just kind of, yeah. If you see lovebirds in the wild, they'll actually lean in on each other. So he will actually put his forehead right on my nose in order to fall asleep. It's really cute. Warner Brothers had always had great animation. Marvel had fun movies. For some reason, both companies decided to lower quality on the things they were good at. Yeah. What was that? You know what? I just got for 4K. My daughter, they got me a PlayStation 4 for Christmas. I finally hooked it up, and I got a 4K because I heard it plays 4K. It didn't, by the way. It was Long Halloween. I remember that is such a great film, and I was looking for it. Okay, let's see how crisp this can be, and it didn't. The 4K, it's supposed to play on PlayStation 4, but it didn't. So I don't know. I just got to watch it the normal way. Will you stop biting my fingers? But yeah, I mean, DC animation kicked all sorts of ass. It's sad though with the movies. If I were DC, the way I would run the movies, and I think if James Gunn's doing this is the way he should do it. Do not try to connect everything. Look, you have if you want to do Supergirl, okay, do Supergirl. You want to do Superman, do Superman. Superman and Supergirl, two different franchises. But you could have Supergirl, Superman with two different franchises with a subplot, with a playthrough that would connect the two at the end in credits or something, you know, just a mention of something like in comics. You know, they have their one issue story, well, they used to anyway, and there would be a subplot mention that would carry into the next one. One of the problems with Marvel is a lot of people believe they've got to watch 20 years of movies in order to understand the next TV show. And that's a big problem. Let's see what we got. Absolutely, DC is killing it in the animation department. I know, right? Yeah, I've liked some of the movies, though, that people say they didn't like. My favorite, or one of my favorites, is The New Frontier. I really enjoyed that. That actually I didn't read the book before I saw the movie. Then I was like, oh, I have to get this. I want to read the source material. I love it. It is such a great story. I'm glad I saw it. You know, not a big fan of, I don't mind the death of Superman, but the return, they changed it up. Not very good. I love Superman Red Sun, the book. The movie makes it pro-communism. No. How about no? But yeah, there are some good things. There's some bad things out there. I wish I could enjoy Red Sun, though. that was the one. I was like, oh no, how can you screw this one up? It's such a great story, and they screwed it up, man. I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing Silver Bullet. That was pretty good. A lot of people didn't like Gotham by Gaslight, and that's one I enjoyed. The same thing with Batman Hush, but I'm not a fan. I'm not a huge fan of Batman Hush, the comic. I'm just not. God bless you if you are. I think it's okay, but it's a video game. If you read the book, it's a video game. Okay, you're gonna go over here. You got to find a clue. Oh my gosh, boss battle. And that's the way the entire series, the entire story of Hush is. Oh, we got a clue. We need to go to this area. Oh, what's around here? Boss battle. And So I was, well, this is a really good video game script, but as a book, it's not really filling out any kind of character. You're not learning anything new about the characters presented. It was all right. It was all right, as my wife would often say in her whenever she reviews anything. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. That's her. That to her, that is the same thing as when I say it was entertaining. You know, if I say it's entertaining, doesn't mean it's great or good. It's just means while I had it on, I was focused. You know, it improved on the quality of a blank screen for the same amount of time. You know, that's what I mean by it's entertaining. It's entertaining covers a lot of sins for me. How about White Knight Batman? I read the first book. Never really followed it after that. Not because I didn't like it. I actually really liked White Knight. I haven't. Are they making an animated, or have they made one? And I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen an animation of it. I did enjoy the first one, but after a while, I got confused about it because I stepped away, and when I stepped back, I was like, "Wait, where are we now?" So I was a little confused. But the first book was really good. It was. One thing I would like to see them do an animated movie on is Deceased. I know that's Tom Taylor, but one of the weird things to me about Tom Taylor, if he's doing a mainstream character, he sucks. Green Lantern sucked. It sucked so bad. For being a gay character, he could not do anything but suck. It was so bad, but Deceased I thought was pretty good. Let's see. They botched the Return of Superman so bad. The last time I bought was the Jon Stewart Green Lantern movie. I put it in twice and almost made a half hour before. The Jon Stewart Green Lantern movie was horrible. And it looks like they're doing the same thing in the TV show. That was horrible. They made, spoiler alert, Hal Jordan the villain. What a way to shit on somebody's legacy, right? Holy crap, that was just bad. That was absolutely god awful stuff. I don't know. I invited everybody here. I put the thing, the link in the chat. Dom was supposed to join me here if they want to. It's cool. You know what? I haven't heard from this young man for a while. Let's there you go, a regular hangout. See what Mr. Dalton is doing. Alrighty. Tom Taylor is good. Indies, Injustice, and DC. I love Injustice. I love that story. I do think there are a couple of things where I'm like, yeah, that's a little bit too much even for Superman. Like when he destroyed, what was his name? Gog, the planet Green Lantern. No, not buying it. No. He pushed him into the sun. No, sorry. I didn't buy that. There was a lot of things like the gods and the new gods falling to the superheroes, but overall I liked Injustice, and I love the game, both of them, Injustice 1 and 2. I restarted Injustice 2 and found out, holy crap, I really haven't played that. Like, I played the storyline, but they've got this thing called multiverse where you go and you can make your characters 30 level and all that kind of stuff. It's fun. I like that. I like the fighting game. It's also one of those brainless, mindless kind of things. You don't want to delve into a story for a while, throw on a fighting game, and boom. Yeah. But yes, I do like Deceased. I do like Injustice. Green Lantern was horrible. It's little, yeah, it's kind of like Tom King is the same way to me. Sometimes I like his stuff, sometimes not so much. You know, then the story that they're basing the Supergirl movie on, I read the first couple of issues. Maybe I should give it a try, because I read the first couple of issues when this is True Grit, and I stopped reading. I just wasn't interested in it so much. So I don't know. But one thing, of course, and I was talking about this, is Millie Alcock, whatever her name is decided to go off and talk about it, and people are all kind of hacked off. So I looked up the Variety interview here. All right, and let me see if I can't do this properly. Oh, I know what I need to do. Let me get that up there. Let's pull this down. There we go. Go over to StreamYard. And then, where is it? Oh, no. Okay, here we go. All right, that's what I needed. There we are. Okay, so yeah, she ran her mouth to Variety and everybody's mad at it. I don't know if this is the part, but here we go. She said the interview says Alcock had never tested for a role in person, having been cast as young Rhaenyra, her first major job outside of Australia, blah, 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 yada, yada. But she wasn't scared of the audition. It's the stakes, other young actors were in contention, blah, blah, blah. Let's get to the story. The Supergirl from Tom King's 2122 Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow comics would be punk rock. She wouldn't be squeaky clean like the other Supergirls we've seen, whether the 1984 self-titled movie with Helen Slater that bombed, or in the most recent television adaptation starring Melissa Benoist that ran for 6 seasons. No, in this version, Kara, as Safran puts it in an interview, is super tough and has been through some shit, having witnessed the slow demise of her home planet of Krypton. Slow demise? Krypton blew up. That's not that. Okay. And watched everyone she loves, her parents especially, die. What was she in? She wasn't in Candor. Argo? It was Argo or something? Yeah. Okay, so I get it. She's old enough to have some sort of trauma coming along with the death of the planet that Clark Kent would not have. So I understand that actually being a story point. If you think about it, the Argo City, thank you, Jim. That is not a bad story point to bring up. It makes sense. I am okay with that. What you don't do is you don't piss on Clark Kent. You don't piss on Superman. It's like the Superboy, when they made Superboy Superman so they could say Superman was gay. They had Superboy look at his father straight in the face and say, "You haven't done enough for the world, Dad." Are you fucking kidding me? Which, of course, we know wasn't Superboy saying it. It was the writer that was saying it. And as I said, I've said for 10, what has it been now? 10 years almost? I've said what's going on now is that instead of finding the voice of the character, the writers are putting their voices into the character, which is absolutely ass backwards. They have to be okay, this is Captain America. Captain America stands for this. How would he say this? How would they go about it? They don't do that anymore. They go, "Hey, I'm Ta-Nehisi Coates, and I'm a racist motherfucker, so I'm going to write Captain America as a guy who hates his country because his country is racist." That's the way they do that. I mean, name it. I mean, I mentioned Fire and Ice. Do Fire and Ice from the, if you read that miniseries, do they act like the Fire and Ice from JLE? I mean, it's one thing to draw a character different, which I don't think there should be. By the way, I'm very much in favor of a house style. I know some people are like, "Oh, yeah, but, different artists have different styles." I don't know. I think if you can't match a style for a certain character, don't. Unless it's a miniseries, unless it's a one-shot, unless it's out of continuity. Does Catwoman have a rounder face, or does she have a long face? Is she a Jim Lee character, or is she a, oh goodness gracious, Darwin Cook character? Which one? Look at the difference. Is the Catwoman Jim Balance version, or is it Darwin Cook that came during the Ed Brubaker? Those two, if you put them together, you wouldn't think they were the same. If they were standing in front of you as live people, you would not go, "Oh, that's the same person twice." because they look so drastically different. So yeah, I'm kind of a-okay if there's ever a house style for characters. You know, how does Superman look? He looks like this. Okay, you know what? Maybe Ed Benes is not the right artist for him. Not a bad artist. You know, you may think so, you may not think so, but maybe he's not exactly the artist for this character. I don't know. Anyway, I digress. Let's see. Audition day, there wasn't a Supergirl costume for her to wear. That would come later. Blah, 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 yada, yada. They dressed Alcock in long sleeve shirt, red skirt, and a shortcut that only increased her feeling of the says, what am I doing? She stood up before a group that included Gunn, Saffron, Supergirl screenwriter, and blah, 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 blah. Everybody had tears in their eyes, he says. She wears her heart on her sleeve. She brings so much emotion to the role. We all looked at it and said, this is absolutely perfect. She's exactly what we want. I'm pretty sure they also said, and yeah, that Game of Thrones show was hot. So people will know her for that. We had really good actresses come in, like people that gave great auditions. It's not even really about that. It's just Millie's the girl. Okay. So where's the part that we're pissing people off? Bum, bum, bum. She'd never been number one on a call sheet. And when she read that, yada, yada. My personal experience of being Millie married Kara's experience, which it was hide, run away, pretend it's not happening. Okay. I'm trying to find the part that people got pissed at. She told herself, go for it. Let's see. Superhero movies, once the industry's slam dunks, are no longer sure bets. Marvel's remarkable winning streak with its Avengers movies in the 2000s fizzled after Avengers Endgame. And it's been hit or miss. Yeah, well, they did it, right? We knew they would. Because not only did they say, hey, we're going to do more female characters, which anybody who tells you, who's this for? Shut the fuck up. Shut up. Just shut the It's for you, and you know that. You know it. You know you wanted a She-Hulk TV or movie. You didn't want it written and done the way they did it. But whenever I said, who's this for? Shut up. Shut up. If you're a comic book fan, you want to see the heroes on the big screen. You just want them done well. So, I guess maybe I'm quoting it wrong. Nobody asked for this. Yes, you asked for it. That's what I'm saying. Not the who's this for. It was the nobody asked for it. Anytime I hear that, I mean, you're so full of shit. Nobody asked. Nobody asked for Shang-Chi. Bullshit. We want to see the characters on screen. We just want to see them done well. Eternals should never have been a movie. It should have been a TV show. A good 16 episode to 24 episode TV show. They have 10 characters. You're not going to make a good movie with 10 characters in 2 hours if you want to flesh out every character fully. Just saying. Let's see. Ballant Dixon was best Catwoman series and representation, says Jim. Yeah, I agree. I like that one. But yeah, I was really talking about how do these characters look, you know? Let's see. Warner Brothers hired James Gunn, the director of Marvel's massively pop, blah, blah, blah. And Saffron, the producer of Aquaman, DC's highest grossing movie. You know what? I love Aquaman. I do. I love his character, but it's amazing to me that that's the one that went to billion. That's the one, you know. Wonder Woman is so much better of a movie than Aquaman. And I enjoy Aquaman, the movie. I actually like the sequel as well, but holy crap, I could not believe it. I'm surprised. Well, I'm not surprised Shazam didn't do well because they sandwiched it between Captain Marvel and Endgame. It should have been a Christmas release. They should have pushed it all the way back to Christmas. It was a family film. They should have marketed as such. And they just dropped the very least end of August, not between Endgame and such for Shazam. Let's see. Superman, Gunn, and Saffron's first official movie in the DCU made more than $600 million at the box office, which was considered a promising beginning but not a home run. So a lot is riding on Supergirl. Then why are you letting her mouth off? For Alcock, those stakes she'd worried about before her audition are both professional and personal. After playing the chick in House of Dragons, she had little appetite to work in another massive franchise, but in Kara Superman's first cousin, she's a fellow alien from Krypton who's also sent to Earth after the destruction of their planet. She found a character whose dilemma and fears perhaps oddly mirrored her own. She has fears of not fitting in the planet. Let's see. This is how at the end of the movie he heals. Where's my dog? She comes in. Yeah, we know about that. Where's the part that pisses people off? Alcock was alarmed at first, not understanding what was happening. Chantal cried. I just hugged, blah, blah, blah. I don't get it. I don't get it. Kara isn't actually having fun. She's trying to disappear. We do know that. But okay, though Alcock had worn the Supergirl costume in Superman, that wouldn't be the dress code while she's getting sloppy in another galaxy. Thus, the Blondie t-shirt. Okay, you're going to dress her down a bit. That's fine. Man, this goes on forever. Maybe I should have read it first. Anyway, blah, 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 guys suck. Okay, blah, 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 guys suck. I'm not going to go through that whole thing. We know what it was. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of this thing. Let's get to really what's being said here. And it's been said so many times. Now, I just went up. Who's it for? Who's it for? Who's it for? That's it. That I didn't mean to say that because I really wanted to say who asked for this. Everybody asked for it. They just want a better version of it. It bothers me, that question. But who's it for? That's the good question. Who is She-Hulk for? I brought that up earlier. Who was She-Hulk for? Really? We know who reads comics. Who was it for? The one thing that seems to happen every time one of these movies come out, especially if it stars a female or a black character or whatever, is they attack the people who keep these characters popular for decades. The group of people, they won't want seeing this movie, and they tell you by their own words, are me and you. So they hate you, right? I mean, isn't that what it brings up? They hate you. I don't know if they hate you. They don't know you. So I don't think they hate you. They hate an idea that they have in their head of you. It's the same thing whenever I hear, I saw a video, some girl left the country, went to Canada, and she says, I am studying conservatives and conservatism. I doubt you are. I'll bet you read an opinion that you agreed with from some leftist. I don't think you're going around from conservative to conservative to see what their thoughts are really matter. And I do believe that's what goes on when it comes to these interviews. I apologize. I should have. I started at the part where they started talking about Superman, thought maybe it would go in there, but they're like, oh, let me tell you this plot of fucking last movie. Who cares? But it does come down to this. She gets backlash because she's playing Supergirl. No, you don't. Nobody gives a shit. We want you to play Supergirl. We want you to play Supergirl well in a movie with a good script. We're looking forward to it. How many of you guys, like myself, have watched the Helen Slater Supergirl knowing how bad it is? You've seen it before, and still you go, you know what? That was campy fun. I'm going to put it on. We can tolerate bad movies if they're fun. We sometimes search them out. Nobody is giving. First of all, I doubt any of it happened anyway, because it seems like the actress comes out, or the black actor or whatever comes out with an announcement. Oh, I'm getting hate. I'm getting racism. I'm getting sexism, with no evidence. And then somebody types in, what the f you mean? And then, of course, you get the dumbasses. There's always someone willing to take the bait to the point where they are willing to say something sexist or racist or something along those lines. And then that's what they show, and that's the thing, and boom, they're off to the races. Let's see. Tom Taylor. Okay, I read that one. Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Shazam, Gun, Suicide were the only decent Snyderverse releases. Jim, I love, and it's probably one of, if not my absolute favorite comic book movie is Zack Snyder's Justice League. Maybe you do need 4 hours to make a team movie like that really shine, but everybody got their chance. Everybody got their spotlight. I loved it. It's maybe the only other movie on par with the Zack Snyder Justice League is The Flash. That I can't even go on with that. I'm sorry, I'm fucking down on that one. But yeah, for me, I really did love the Snyder cut. The Pro-Varian, they hate me specifically. They called me out by name. Yes. Helen is also really hot. Well, you know what? I'm not going to be on any kind of bandwagon that says, what's her name? Alcock is an unattractive woman. It's like that whole thing that's going on with Lupita Nyong'o. Oh, she's so ugly. Look at her. Look at this picture of her as a slave in 12 Years a Slave. Isn't Lupita Nyong'o horrible to look at? No. Isn't Miley Alcock? Oh, they dressed her down. They put dirt on her face. She's horrible. Oh, she's so ugly. Yeah, you're full of shit. I'm sorry, but you are. I'm not going to jump on any kind. Helen Slater, yeah, absolutely hot. So I'm not going to say that, but it's just no. I would never say Miley Alcock is not. I don't know. When I first saw her at the end, and she goes, "Where's the dog?" and Crypto flies over to her, I'm like, "Point of order, please. You have the cat. The dog is actually Clark's. So why don't you go your horse some more?" I did see that video of the chick who moved to Canada. She's now homeless and begging for. Yeah, exactly. Oh, by the way, you've got a box coming, and a little less than half a box already being filled. So there you go, Tony. But yeah, it's something with these people. Those are the people that are making the movies, and who are they making them for? Because they don't read comics. I mean, these days, by the sales, not a lot of people do. So who's the audience for these? Except for people like myself. I always have hope, if not faith. I always have hope that I'm going to go in and see a decent movie. Tomorrow I'm going to go see Grogu and Mandalorian. I've seen a lot of reviews that, no spoiler reviews, but I've seen a lot of reviews that say it's mid. It's very mid. And I agree with people. This is your first movie in 7 years. Why are you not going all the out? I mean, I would not be hesitant to say that they did in fact go all out for what was it, the Rise of Skywalker or whatever it was, the last of the sequels. I mean, that had an epic ending. It sucked, but it was big. They gave the audience what they thought they wanted. The problem is Rian Johnson. I mean, you can laugh at it now. Rian Johnson, them with Star Wars, and whoever approved the script, them with Star Wars. I guess it would be Kathleen Kennedy. Oh, we loved it. We loved his Knives Out. Oh, it's such a great movie. Oh, let's give him Star Wars. he just went. You gotta laugh, man. I'm serious. Because Rian Johnson, I mean, they were like, "Oh, we're gonna bring back the Star Wars," and they did. Force Awakens wasn't horrible. I always like, but yeah, it was a remake. We all know that. I mean, most of us who were alive when Star Wars came out the first time and have been watching it for 50 years went, "Wait a second, okay." But you could let yourself go and enjoy that as its own movie. You could watch Last Jedi. I'll say this: I think you can watch Last Jedi in certain scenes and enjoy it as its own movie. But once you attach it to everything else, it fucks it up. I mean, Rian Johnson, he didn't even lube up before he entered. I want He-Man to be good, but they have people attached to the film that keep coming out and saying stupid shit. Yeah. That's one of the big problems. Right now with the Helen of Troy thing, the Odyssey, you have a lot of people showing up and go, wait a second, nobody minded when was it Vanessa Williams? I think she played Calypso in one. I think there was a stage show with Eartha Kitt playing Helen of Troy. Then people are bringing, oh, you didn't mind it when Kevin Sorbo played Hercules and he wasn't Greek. First of all, and here's the biggest difference. I've said this for the last 10 years too. It's different when you just do it versus when you announce it as a form of virtue signaling. Every time they do this with the Miley Alcock thing, oh, I got hate and I got backlash and I got all this. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You made it up. You waited until the argument, then you pulled a couple of quotes, and that's where the argument comes from. And as they've done it 100 times. Had they just done it and put it in there and made sure that Lupita Nyong'o looked as good as she could, it would have caused some controversy. It would not be what it became. But now they've got the publicity. But the thing is will it actually cross over? No, I don't think it will. I think they have tanked Homer's Odyssey. I'm looking at Animal Farm. Once they showed the preview and they're, oh no, it's not about that. It's about crony capitalism. It's not about, it doesn't matter. Damage done. We're not going to see it. I'll see it, but I'm paying $25 a month to see 4 movies a week. That's my contribution to whatever ticket. So take that how you will. Let's see. I want that popcorn bucket. What popcorn bucket? Oh, the He-Man. Oh yeah. Okay. Yep. Half true Hollywood reels. I don't know what that stands for. What that means. Evil man, what's going on? Okay. Come on. It's okay. If he hears me talk too much, he gets a little bit excitable sometimes. You guys see him when we're doing the cover rankings and all. I kind of want to do these kind of videos a little bit more. I gotta tell you, I'm lazy. I mean, I wish I could say it was well, sometimes I'm driving people around, or me and Gail, like on Thursdays, we'll go out, or on Fridays we'll go out, and I'm like, yeah, I kind of just want to hang out with Gail. You know, we had a really good day yesterday. I didn't even want to do a show. Maybe it would have been better because I made a joke, and Amy bowed out, and RDV was saying, hey, I listened to the thing. I didn't hear, by the way, I don't hear everything in here. And I didn't hear her. She was mumbling something under her breath about, because I made a joke, oh, maybe I'm a little more feminist than you, because and in all honesty, I was going to finish it up, but I was reading comments, and I read a comment that said it was a cover where Green Lantern was punching Star Sapphire. And I read a comment that said equal rights and lefts. And she says, I'm out soon. But my whole point to the I'm a little more feminist than you was going to be really when I saw the cover. I saw Green Lantern hitting Star Sapphire. I didn't see man versus woman. I saw hero versus villain. Honestly, it's a thing. It is on every comic book cover. You know, you have violent. Comic books are violent. Comic books can be violent as shit. It might not be bloody. You know, maybe stuff like The Boys, you know, after the comics code stopped and we were able to show blood, maybe that's when it became bloody. But a lot of conversations between our heroes started, hey, Iron Man, punch. What's going on, Batman? Slap. Comic books are violent as fuck. And it's been violent from man to woman, woman to man, any combination you could think of. So I didn't think about what I was saying. I'd made a joke to Gail, but I'll tell you straight up. First of all, I am really sorry. I don't want to offend Amy, and I know she's got a more delicate sensibility than I do. I do actually try to curb my language around her. Sometimes I fail. If I get too passionate about something, I do fail. And I do things to make sure that she's comfortable and such. But I also am who I am, and we are who we are. I don't want you to stop. I don't want her to stop. And but I will say this: if I make a joke to my wife, that's the reaction. She's going to give me her reaction. And a lot of times I make a joke just to get her reaction. And I do not listen to any judgment between that. The only judgment I care about is the one of the lady who is sitting over here. That is pretty much it. Her and my children. Let's see what we got. I mean, never really reveal the true purpose or intents. It's understandable. Spend time with your wife. Oh, of course. Yeah. Thank you, Grand Admiral. But I do love doing these live streams and just chatting and reading questions. Let's talk about the subject of the day. I don't have, as I'm speaking about right now, I don't have much of a filter. And I got to say, it's gotten worse over the years. When you first turn on that camera to do a YouTube channel, and I'm used to being on stage. I've been on stage in front of people. I've joked, I've sung, I've done serious. Well, actually, I've more joked. I got in trouble. I did I played a stagehand. It's not a big thing. It's a theme park show. We were on stage and we're supposed to be stagehands with a little clacker and the whole 9 yards. And each of us got a line. Mine was, what was it? A shot in the balls. And, you know, it was supposed to be an innuendo. And people will be, shot in the balls, take one. Shot in the balls, take one. I was like, you're not really selling it, are you? And I got in trouble because I went, shot in the balls. You know, just kind of really let that ball, you know, just so people understand that I'm not talking about the fact that they are basically in a big pit with green, little plastic green balls that will disappear and become water for the movie. You know, it's supposed to, you know, so I really sold that. And they pulled me aside and said that I was being dirty. I'm saying the same exact thing as everybody else. Shot in the balls, shot in the balls, shot in the balls. Shot in the balls. Boom. Like, okay. I said, yeah, but people understand the joke. And I get a bigger laugh than everybody else. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of funny because I'm very much somebody, when I'm watching a TV show, I hear line readings. And some of them are really good. And someone's like, ooh, yeah. Which also makes me susceptible to AI. I stopped watching a lot of YouTube channels, a lot of YouTube videos because they've gone AI. I don't know. Fuck you. You got something to say? I don't care if it's a fucking top 10 list. If you're going to make a top 10 list, do this. Maybe show an image or whatever. But you fucking talk to us. Anytime. I will promote this to the fucking heavens. If you hear AI, turn that shit off and dislike or walk away, whatever. It actually offends me. Oh, here's the top 10 greatest blah, blah, whatever. Number 1 is, and you can tell right away that it's an AI voice. And if you can't tell right away, maybe a little bit into it, they say something like, they'll say, Star Wars, the Empire's Strike Back. Wait, what? What did he say? Empire Strike Back? You know, it's just, good God. No, talk about it. Get on. If it's your opinion, get on there. Oh, another one I can't stand. Hold on. Now I do AI, by the way. I have fun with it because I do the descriptions in AI just because I want to see what it comes up with. So I am a bit of a hypocrite on this. But my opinions are my opinions. You're here. This is not an AI voice. But you can tell, like, I also can't stand the reading. Observe, if you will, the once mighty Marvel Comics, staggering, wobbling, reeling like a champion who's taken one clean shot too many. Recent sales numbers are down, not slightly, not marginally down, in a way that makes the crowd gasp and the trainers look away. This is dude, from the heart, man. If you can't read well, and by the way, when I read my scripts verbatim, I come off very wooden. So A lot of videos, if I make video, I won't script them out. But what I'll do is I'll start talking, and I might go what is it? Top 10 comic book movies. Number 10, X-Men First Class. Well, okay, so first of all, we got to talk about X-Men First Class. One thing you have to look at are the chair. God damn it. And I'll go back and I'll redo the line until I get the line right, or maybe I'll think of a different way of saying it. So that not necessarily would be the first reading. It's not like everything's coming out of the heart like the first time I say it. But as I'm re-recording a mistake or something, I may think of a better way to say it, and that's the way it works. Let's see. Hello. AI art is ugly. Yeah, but sometimes it's fun. I just for fun, we were going to do Swamp Thing. And so I said, okay, give me a Swamp Thing, a fat YouTuber, blah, blah. I'm trying to describe myself. And Swamp Thing had like 7 fingers on one hand, 3 on the other, have 4 arms. It looked so fucking ridiculous. Hello to Lord of Brooklyn. What's up? Oh, no. But yeah, I do not like AI channels at all. Detective Comics Annual number 5, 1992 is a great book, says Faye Winbush. Okay. That is awesome. I like that. Thank you. Why do you think it's a great book? I'll read. You tell me why. I'll read it off. Personally, right now I'm reading Dan Slott's She-Hulk. I saw the omnibus was on sale. It was only like $30, so I picked it up. And I've been reading that. I was worried because I've been telling people, I've been saying, you know what? I love Dan Slott's run of She-Hulk. It's really good. It's really good. And of course, I hate Dan Slott's run of Spider-Man. It's really bad. It's really bad. So I was like, wait a second. I haven't read this in 20 years. So I'm very happy to say I read the miniseries, which was awesome. And I'm on like issue number 12 of the regular series. I think the omnibus goes to 21 and then Peter David takes over. By the way, as much as I like Dan Slott's run, Peter David's is a different level. But then again, I think Peter David is a different level of comic book writer. So I was listening to zombie stories on YouTube, but I realized a lot of it was AI, which is whatever for the most part. But the person who reads it doesn't even proofread it. Characters disappear with no explanation. The new Swamp Thing 89 miniseries is great, says Faye. Ooh, well, maybe I'll check that out. Great art concept, great cover. All righty. Or people just randomly appear like they've been in there the whole time. Well, I stopped watching and a lot of crime stories. Like in Florida on March the 3rd, 1978, 2 people come in and there's obviously AI. And I'm like, wait a second. March 3rd, Florida, crime, blah, blah, no mention. And I'm like, okay. All right. I did an experiment just for fun. I'll do it again. Write a 2-paragraph story about 2 squirrels trying to cross a park to get to, I'm typing with one hand because the bird's drinking my water, their tree for safety in the rain in the style of Stephen King. The rain came down in needles, thin, cold, merciless, turning the park into a gray smear of mud and shadows. 2 squirrels, soaked to the bone, crouched beneath the twisted roots of an oak that wasn't theirs. listening to the wind howl like something hungry. The sky cracked open with a sound that didn't feel like thunder so much as a warning. Across the park, barely visible through the sheets of rain, stood their tree. Home, safety, the one place where the world didn't feel like it had teeth. But between here and there stretched a lawn that had transformed into a churning swamp, littered with puddles deep enough to swallow a creature their size. And somewhere out there, moving with slow, deliberate intent, was the shape they'd seen earlier, too large to be a dog, too quiet to be a raccoon, something that watched. They darted out anyway, because fear only matters when you have the luxury of staying still. The mud sucked at their paws, the rain blinded them, and the wind shoved them sideways like an angry hand. A branch snapped behind them, loud, close. But they didn't look back. They didn't dare. The park felt alive in the worst way, every shadow twitching, every guest whispering their names. By the time they reached the base of their tree, their tiny hearts hammered like fists on a coffin lid. One squirrel scrambled up first, the other right behind, just as something heavy splashed in the puddle where they'd been standing. They didn't see what it was. They didn't want to. They only knew that the storm hadn't been the scariest thing in the park that night. Who wants to make a comic book? It's that fucking easy. That fucking easy, right? That's the way it is right now. But yeah, so you get that, but then you get somebody and they'll do, okay, I want an AI voice to read that. And it doesn't have the emotion. It definitely doesn't have the ends and odds that I included, but yeah, it doesn't have the emotion at all. Hey, Eric, come on in, man. Two squirrels were on their way to an anti-ICE protest, shouting F Trump as they scampered. You said you wanted it on a Stephen King style. There you go. Yeah. That would fit. Whose comic book line is it anyway? When Disney announced She-Hulk, I automatically thought Byrne and hybrid of Night Court, Harvey Birdman. Then I saw an episode for the first and last time, says Jim. The second episode was good. I will stand by that. The second episode was what Dan, and by the way, they're doing Dan Slott's run, not John Byrne's. But the second episode was good. Beyond that, no. It's from maybe to absolutely not. But yeah, I by the way, I did that squirrel story before, and it was different. I thought, what would be the most mundane thing that you could really throw something into? And I thought, two squirrels crossing a lawn. Okay, how would you change it? How would you make it dangerous? There's something out there and it's raining. You know, I see my cats, they're my cats now, and the strays. We've got squirrels all over the place, and there's a big oak in front of us here. And it's a mad dash. If the squirrels are on the ground, it's a mad dash to get up that tree fast enough. Those cats can't get up there. It's so yeah, I thought that was kind of fun. I thought that was kind of funny. But AI, man, AI is ruining. You just see it in YouTube way too much now. What are you doing, little man? You running up and down my arms? You know? You gotta chew yourself. Chew. Right. Oh, okay. There you go. He's paying tribute. He goes, ah. It's kind of weird. Do I like Ron Lim? Like the Green Lantern guy? Desert Rose says, yeah, I guess. Yeah. I wrote two novels, novellas, and it's very hard to sell them because you have to prove that they are not AI. Yeah, I get it. They want to do things more realistic and everything, but it's almost like, wouldn't it be nice to have a signature? I mean, let me tell you, I will be 100% honest. If I ever do a video, it's not going to have an AI script. It might have an AI thumbnail. It might have an AI description because I just have too much fun with that. But if you go back and you look at some of the cover ranking descriptions, I'll say stuff like, The Outer Limits. Excuse me. God dang it. Ooh. The Outer Limits, I remember I said this is the title, Ranking Outer Limits comic book covers. I need a description, make it in the style of the Outer Limits TV show. So it started off, we control the volume, blah, 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 and yada, yada. One I did, I want this title needs a description in the style of Shel Silverstein's Sarah Sylvia Cynthia Stout. She would not take the garbage out. And there you go. I wanted to see what they would do with it. A lot of times, if it's Spider-Man, I'll just go, give me a description of this, ranking Spider-Man, but in the style of Stan Lee hosting a Saturday morning cartoon. You must begin with face front true believers, because that's what he always said. And yeah, there you go. Kyle Baker is a good artist. George Perez is one of my favorites, if not my favorite, as far as artists are concerned. I don't read a lot of modern stuff, though. Boy, why are you grabbing onto my thumb like that? You want some water? Here you go. There you are, my boy. He's a good boy. There you go. There you go. Say hello. Goodness gracious. He is a bit rambunctious, but I fed him some sugar. I get these root beer barrels, and he goes nuts after them. So yeah. Is Shel Silverstein the guy who wrote music for D Hook? Shel Silverstein is a poet. His favorite book, or his famous book, is two of them: The Giving Tree and Where the Sidewalk Ends, which is a collection of poetry. Yeah, George Perez is up there, says Faye. All right. Cool. Let's see. I'm losing steam and I'm losing topics, and Dom hasn't even showed up. I'm wondering, because I told him let's meet at 9:30. I wonder if he's like, it's 9:30 now. Let's go, and because he's on the left coast. So 9:30 to him is my 12:30, and I'm definitely going to be done before that. Yeah, Pistachio he's Pistachio. There you go. Say hi to everybody. I do get comments sometimes. It's like, what the hell is this guy doing with a bird on his head? It's Pistachio, man. He's my boy. I relate to Whiplash in Iron Man 2. I want my bird. Give me my bird. You want me to get you a bird? No, I want my bird. Yes. Todd McFarlane, now versus then topic. I have no clue about now. I really don't read a lot of new comics. You know what? I read a new one today. It was a Creep Show comic book. It's a horror anthology. Wasn't good. I mean, it wasn't good. It wasn't, oh my gosh, it's woke and all that. No, it was bad writing. The art was this, but the writing is bad. It was just bad. And then I was like, you know what? I'll read some Teen Titans, or not Teen Titans, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I figure, okay, I'll read some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I picked up. Here's a topic, because I guess since I'm admitting to it, I picked up the new Teenage Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue number 6, and it's not good. Written by Andrew Jalstra, art by Louis Joyce. I know a lot of people were mad because in the last cartoon they had a black April O'Neil, and I'm like, guys, did you see April when she first came out? It wasn't until the cartoon she was a white redhead lady. She's got black features in the first appearances in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So I wasn't really bothered. But what I was bothered by is that she had the hairstyle that all comic artists give black people now. It's the Kilgore hairstyle, and they made her fat. They made her look like Velma from not Scooby-Doo, but the Velma TV show. I was like, now that's the problem. That's the problem. I'm not going to get mad that you made April O'Neil black. She was black in the first books. I don't give a shit. But yeah, it was like, so I tried to read it. I got 3 pages in and I had to turn that shit. I had to stop. That was just bad. Hey, Eric, what's up? Your mic's off. What we got? Real Ghostbusters.
I thought I'd stop by for a minute.
Oh, cool. It's good to have someone to talk to. When it's just
a computer that works too, because I turned the microphone on, it shut itself back off on my way in.
Ooh. Yeah, not good. Oh, what do you got? Real Ghostbusters Now comics versus nowadays Ghostbusters comics. I didn't read the Real Ghostbusters. I wasn't interested in the cartoon. I was a little bit older. I was actually working. I used to work damn near every day doubles. So I wasn't really into the Real Ghostbusters. I can say there are some good Ghostbuster comics now. I can't speak to now, but a couple of years ago now, or IMDb. I think was Real Ghostbusters published by now. But so I can't really do a comparison between those. Topic: rank Howard Chaykin all time. By the way, speaking of ranking Howard Chaykin, we are going to be doing some American flag in July. No, wait, are we? I think, did I put him up there or did I not? I was thinking about it. I may just. And then baseball lately is being asked of you, Eric. How is baseball treating you?
Reds and Red Sox both won. So not
nice.
Too shabby.
There you go, little man. There you go. All right. Now let go of my bottle. Let go of the bottle. There you are. Okay. Good boy. What is your favorite Howard Chaykin project? I guess rank Howard Chaykin.
American Century wasn't bad.
Black Hawk, the three issue miniseries. I enjoyed that. There's probably something I'm not thinking about that I liked a lot better.
Did a Shadow miniseries in the mid '80s.
That's right. There you go. I read the Shadow series quite a bit, as a matter of fact. I met Jose Canseco last Sunday. Says, "Faye, Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars." I'm looking forward to the movie tomorrow. I'm hoping I find entertainment in it. By the reviews, I have lowered my expectations. They weren't that high to begin with. I mean, I watched the Mandalorian TV show, but the only really good season was season 3. So take that how you will. I'm hoping it's good, but we'll see. How did Canseco look? Says Lord of Brooklyn. Was he keeping his health? That's the important part.
And somewhere in a bar, Ozzy Canseco's going, "The steroids didn't do shit for me."
Hey. Oh, okay. Attacking my eye. He looked healthy. A lot of adult, mature comics. Howard did the 80s. Yeah, I read Black Kiss. It sucked. I wish I could say different. But
by the way, did you get that reference even a little bit that I just made?
What reference?
Yeah. Jose
Obviously I
Canseco
didn't. Okay.
had a twin brother named Ozzy.
Okay.
Who, I mean, they were identical twins. I mean, same build, same everything. Jose Canseco had some like 454 home runs. Ozzy had 1.
So no, I didn't get the reference. I understood the intent.
I get the people that say that steroids should be a deal breaker. However, if you don't have the skill to begin with, all the steroids in the world aren't going to help. And that's the Canseco brothers are exhibits A, B, and C right there.
There you go. It's either the talent or the drugs or both.
Has anybody mentioned American flag?
As far as the best, no. I mean, like, we're the only ones mentioning it. Except for the fact that I did have it planned to be part of the July. I am not counting June as Pride Month. I will not. So I call July Pride Month for, being proud to be American. So we're going to be looking at a lot of patriotic heroes and war comics and such. So I don't think we can I don't know if American flag would count as a patriotic comic, but it's got the flag everywhere. So at least it would be fun, but I don't know how to put it in there. FYIE, that shows Silverstein, the poet, was also a songwriter for Dr. Oh, okay. I did not know that. It's really interesting. Thanks for the info, because it was fun reading about him. Oh, cool. Yeah, by the way, I do love, when I was a kid, I loved both The Giving Tree and Where the Sidewalk Ends. I've read Where the Sidewalk Ends like it was the only book ever made. Along with the She-Hulk that I've been reading, I've also been I reread Batman Mad Love, the Harley Quinn origin. Love it. I think it's based on a episode, or they did the episode based on the comic, and that's one of my favorites. And I finally finished the very first book in Stephen King's Dark Tower series, The Gunslinger. It was all right. It took me forever. It never really grabbed me, which I was going to read the Dark Tower series. And I'm like, yeah, that didn't grab me. I picked up a book called Revival, and I'm all over that. I'm like, just started it, and I'm already near page 100. It just, let's go. Hey, Henry, Shake and Bake. I never liked his art much, but I liked his Iron Wolf and his Dominic Fortune in Bizarre Adventures. Okay, all right. There you go. Hello. Cool. What do we got going on? Oh, I lost a first appearance of Teen Titans by $100. I was like, okay, I could do 150, but I'm in an argument with Gail. Because it means I'll have to push bills back. So I went to 150. It went for 254. It's like, on a different fucking week, maybe. But I lost out on a Teen Titans. But somebody I see has a Teen Titans #1 for 60. It's not in the greatest, so I don't know. Jim says DC, Marvel, and Hollywood really disappointed me this year. It is the U.S.'s 250th anniversary. There's nothing remotely patriotic being teased for a July release. Are they still doing their gay pride shit? Because I would say that absolutely is. Well, I mean, and I'm going to say this on you, Jim. What in DC and Marvel's recent history would ever give you the idea they would give a fuck about America, much less America on its centennial? There might be some lip service. I'm pretty sure there's some lip service gonna happen, but yeah, I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. What do you say about that, Eric?
Oh, there won't be anything. Why would there be? I mean, I said, I've been doing this long enough I remember the 200. DC salutes the bicentennial. You think about how far the ideology has gone to the left in half of a century. It's no. I said I think they'll do their usual, pride books, and I don't even know if they'll even go as far as they have in years past, but they sure as hell won't do anything to draw attention to the 250th birthday of the country that they think is fundamentally flawed, and the Constitution needs to be shredded and started over. And the true, the true birth of the nation was Juneteenth. No, they're not going to do anything for.
Okay, I typed in DC and Marvel celebrate America's 250th. And Marvel is leading the charge in celebrating the United States 250th birthday with a massive year-long rollout 250th homage covers and exclusive comic series titled 1776. Is that actually, let's see, the 1776 limited series written by legendary writer J. Michael Straczynski with art by Ron Lim, not Lemon, This 5-issue series explores the American Revolution through the lens of Captain America and the broader Marvel universe as they defend the country's founding. Oh my God. Okay, let me talk about this. And by that, I mean, let me rant for a moment. I'm calling bullshit right here. I'm calling bullshit. It's not going to be through Captain America's lens. It's going to be through DC Comics leftist lens. Now, Straczynski's been around for a while. Maybe he could be his old self and find the voice of the character, as I was saying earlier. But I have no hope.
This Captain America was terrible. And he was doing it 2 years ago. 3 years ago, tops.
There you go. Hey, Marky, good evening to everyone in the studio. Come on in. Yeah, I just don't see it. I hope, I will say, I do hope that it's good. I have no faith it will be. Let's see. Let me find that again. 250th homage. Marvel is running a series of monthly variant covers that pay tribute to their iconic 1976 Marvel bicentennial calendar. Let's not do anything original. And then there's a Jeep Wrangler collaboration. Marvel teamed up with Jeep to release a special patriotic-themed Captain America vehicle and an illustrated limited edition comic. While Marvel is an extensive patriotic campaign, DC Comics taking a different narrative path. They are primarily focusing their 250th year momentum on their Bold Absolute Universe initiative, which is successfully relaunched. Okay, so this time, nothing. Okay. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people say the same thing. It's just
what I would do if I were DC next month?
Huh?
I would, without question, do one of those and call it Absolute Pride.
Holy shit! Yeah, that is. Yeah, I can see that working. Hold on, just a
second. But I would have.
And these are the covers. Hold on, just let me bring this down. There we go. These are the covers they're doing. Good God. Did they not see what was on the cover? This is modern comics suck. I know RDV reads them and he's like, no, they're not that bad. Oh, good Lord. That's so bad. That is so bad. Okay, are you not going to give us the cover here? Or is it just the one there? What is... Oh. Hold on. I saw the cover for the new Spider-Man Superman. And I'm thinking, you guys, you had to have seen the original. You had to have been like, okay, the original Spider-Man Superman was awesome. That cover is iconic. We've had it in the rankings a couple of times. It always wins. It's amazing. And then they have gay Superman and Spider-Man right next to him. Like, who said okay to that weak ass shit? When you get something like that, you wanted to grab you by the balls and say, you must buy this. How do covers like that? How do covers like what I just showed you even pass the mustard? It just, and I said mustard, not mustard.
Now, let me mention the Superman Spider-Man for a sec.
Okay.
Another thing, like I said, how far things have come in 50 years. I don't think there's anybody at either company that's still there on a regular basis that truly understands the magnitude of what that original comic was. Because if they did, now it's 50 years later. I'm not saying you have to do an oversized one, although that Superman one was incredible last year. It needed to be oversized in pages, stand alone, no 6 backup stories with, writers of varying degree of success. It didn't feel special. When the main story was barely longer than a regular sized comic, you can't put enough stakes in a story that, between those two characters in 24, 26 pages or whatever. You just can't. And I said, it was not, neither one of those were the number one ordered book of the week it came out. It lost to every absolute title that was out on the weeks that those did. And it did not feel special. And I realize, I'm all but out of the hobby now, but if that had been, what I would have liked to have seen, I would have bought one. I would have bought both of them.
Yeah. When I saw that cover, I was out. I'm not supporting this.
The cover that did it for me was the fact that it was just the main story in an anthology. And that's anthologies, when everybody that worked for the companies were good, rarely felt special.
Yep.
And there's not enough talent to fill an anthology anymore, because the ones that could, they won't use.
So I agree with Lord of Brooklyn. I think it would have been really cool to do for the 250th a national comics. Actually, yeah, let's start in January, end in December. Why not make it the National Comics Challenge? A story with Uncle Sam. Now, Alex Ross was involved in one in the 90s, which very much was about the collapse of them. The United States has been in the worst position. This is the worst. Every year is the worst year for the United States. We're in the best. And everybody, oh, it's so bad. Yeah. But they did this in the 90s. I would have no doubt that an Uncle Sam story today would also be talking about how America's bad. But it would be like the 90s one was about how people don't feel as patriotic. This one would be, isn't Trump bad? Montnoy says he would have been here yesterday, but the new puppy tired me out. Oh, you know what? I saw also, Montnoy, I saw some comment that you made on some guy did a history of Comicsgate again. It showed up in my feed, so I turned it on. It's one more guy who was not there. He looks young enough that he would have been 10 at the time, but he wasn't there. And it was one of those where everybody in Comicsgate was the villain and all that. And it's not exactly a, okay. There you go. All righty. But yeah, I saw that you had commented on that. Let's see. Had to replace my phone today, says Maranya, but currently enjoying Walmart root beer float ice cream. It's all right. And, Blue Bunny's banana split ice cream. Can't have that because Ashley's allergic. Let's see. All I can remember in 1976, the Marvel Treasury Edition Captain America Bicentennial Battles, says Henry. What I remember of 1976, the Bicentennial, what really stands out to me was the suffragette. They had these suffragette characters in the Disney parade, and they were on, I guess, some sort of 1970 version of what do you call those? The people mover things where you lean forward and it goes, because they weren't walking, they were gliding. And one had a rolling pin and was acting, and it scared the shit out of me. Mind you, I was 6, okay? Maybe even still 5, about to be 6. But that's what I remember. I remember the suffragette robot things. Otherwise, it's a blur. It's a blur at this point. Let's see. Exactly. Miss Liberty would be a good addition to patriotic storyline. She was costume hero during the Revolutionary War. That would have been cool. I don't remember. It's just this guy's video showed up in my feed, and I was like, oh, good Lord. What are they saying in the comments? Hey, Mata. Oh, how you doing? All right. Yeah. So That was exactly all of it, but I don't remember the comment. Oh no, he's a good boy. Yes, he is. He's a good boy. But yeah, there you go. Okay, so I was looking and I saw this. I'm not going to make a big deal of it. But apparently, Brian Michael Bendis, Frank Miller, and Dan Slott write Amazing Spider-Man 1000. Here we go with that issue 1000 bullshit again. 800, wasn't it like 20 years ago? And then they quit it. This is, once again, this is Spider-Man volume whatever, issue whatever. It ain't issue number 1000 because they canceled it. The other thing I would say is, hey, guys, you remember what Brian Michael Bendis did to Superman in that 1000? I don't think you should be excited for what Brian Michael Bendis might write about Spider-Man. Okay. Holy shit. I would argue
that Bendis did more damage to Spider-Man than Superman.
Okay. Make your case, sir.
Okay. Before One More Day, that when Bendis revived the Avengers,
okay,
and if he hadn't, we probably don't get the MCU. Blah blah blah. But what he did do was, now I'm sure they told him he had to put they told him he had to put Wolverine and Spider-Man on the team because they're the two best-selling characters.
Right.
He turned Spider-Man into a buffoonish mascot who was the butt of every joke. They succeeded in spite of him. He was in the way at best, a hindrance to their success at worst. And it carried through the entirety of Bendis' time on the Avengers. Which, by the time they did, and then that led, a couple years later to One More Day, Brand New Day. And just that the character has been ruined. And mostly, 50% of it by Bendis. Now, the reason why I say he's done more damage to Spider-Man than Superman, DC, to their credit, was smart enough to put the genie back in the bottle. And basically, Bendis' time there didn't happen. But Spider-Man is still, suffering from what Bendis and Quesada directed Straczynski to do. So, no, I don't want him anywhere. If I were in the hobby, I wouldn't want him anywhere near that issue. I don't know if Frank Miller's got a Spider-Man credit to his name, on writing. I don't know.
Peter Parker
drew a couple, but he didn't write them. And who was the other one?
Dan Slott.
Good Lord.
I said earlier, I love Dan. I'm rereading Dan Slott. She still holds up. I hated Dan Slott's run on Spider-Man.
Henry was asking what Spider-Man book I was talking about. And I know we were talking about the Superman Spider-Man team up from 76. And then the ones from earlier this year that didn't feel special at all. Are any of those what you were asking about, Henry? Because I'm not sure. But, yeah, that Spider-Man 1000 is going to be... I have no faith that it's going to be anything worth reading.
Okay, one that I got to tell you I'm interested in. I don't know if it'll be good or whatever, but I can tell you I do believe this girl is a fan. I don't know if she's a writer, if she can write. But Ms. Marvel actress Iman Vellani, she has an Image comic called Chachu. And it's set in 1979. Well, so she's writing from what he knows. Follows Layla and her estranged private-eye uncle on a road trip mystery full of family secrets. By every interview I've seen with this little girl, she is a comic book fan. And a lot of times, we say we need somebody making comics that actually like comics. I don't know if she's a writer. I don't know if she's going to get a ghostwriter or whatever, but I'm interested. I'm interested in seeing how this does, just because that girl was so fun in Ms. Marvel. She was actually the only thing worth watching in Marvels. I want to see where she goes. Set in 1979, Kishu follows Layla, a 19-year-old Pakistani Canadian girl with a penchant for film and pulp novels, who travels to California hoping to connect with her estranged uncle, Harsh Chu, a middle-aged semi-retired private eye, once famous for marrying starlet he was initially hired to find. But when his wife mysteriously vanishes again, the two are forced on an impromptu road trip investigation that transforms her first taste of adulthood into a thrilling confrontation of family secrets. All right, I'm willing to give it its day in court, just because she did Ms. Marvel right. Just gonna say, I don't know. What do you think?
You know what Marvel should have maybe done while they're doing it, since nothing seems to be working for them? Why wouldn't you take the girl with boundless enthusiasm and apparently a better knowledge of the product than even the guy that was in charge of the movies, and let her write a Ms. Marvel miniseries?
That makes sense.
Yeah, which is why they didn't
not.
do it.
Don't let her go to Image to write about a Detective Uncle. Keep her at Marvel to write about the character she plays.
Yeah, I mean it's the only chance they're ever going to have.
Okay. Oh. I understand why. Here is absolutely 100% the reason they would not do that. It's a no-brainer.
Right.
It's a no-brainer. And they don't want people to know that they don't have brains. It's a no-brainer. It would be proof.
I'd also say that it probably she would probably be a little bit more upbeat than they like.
Yeah.
She'd probably wallow in victimhood.
And maybe Ms. Marvel would, maybe she would actually, I don't know, enjoy. I don't know. The last time the last time I read a Ms. Marvel comic book, it was during one of the elections, and the writer had Ms. Marvel burst into the mayor's office and, "You need to do better." And I was like, okay, I'm out. Yeah. First of all, my whole thing was, if I was writing that particular scene, the mayor would get security. Can you arrest this for trespassing? I guess this is one thing I do like about the She-Hulk miniseries written by Dan Slott is they started representing both heroes and villains. And the villains would I was minding my own business when Hercules came by and just punched me in the face because I was a villain once. Makes sense. Vigilantism is a crime. Unless they say it's not. Vigilantism is a crime. So how did they use excessive force? Whatever. I kind of dig on that. I don't know. Anyway. Let's see. I like Bendis's Ultimate Spider-Man. It says, Jim, I honestly can't think of anything of his besides that and Powers that I liked. Dom mentioned Powers as well, being a good book. I haven't read it yet.
I give him credit for his ideas. And from 2005 through 2010, all the characters were alike except for Luke Cage, who he had a particular fondness for. But I said I'll never criticize, because they put together 5 or 6 amazing years of stories. Whether you liked them or not, I know we've gone back and forth on Civil War, and I'll say for the last time, as a one-off, I had no problem with it. I wouldn't have split the teams the way they did, but that's neither here nor there at this point. But we're Civil War, the Initiative, whatever that was called, Secret Invasion, Dark Reign, and Siege, where those fell apart was they couldn't leave well enough alone. Same with Planet Hulk and World War Hulk. They kept trying to go back to the wells. And each time they did, they became like recording over a 6-hour VHS tape. The quality just kept getting worse and worse.
Worse and worse, yeah.
And now, just like you like to point out, when a character gets written by a terrible activist writer or something, it ruins the good stuff. I would say that happened with that era of Marvel. It's now lumped in with the rest of the shit that came after it. That's just my 2 cents. But and I said the only character I thought that was completely done horribly in that stretch was Spider-Man. That's a big one because that's your flagship character, but everything else was going well enough to where you kind of went with it. I remember I was buying 30 or 40 Marvel titles, and Spider-Man wasn't one of them. That's how badly they screwed that character up.
Yeah, come to think of it, I had a big old stack of comics as well as in my pull list, and Spider-Man not in. Now, I'm mostly a DC collector, but I read House of M and everything, and the Secret Invasion and that kind of stuff. I liked Ms. Marvel back in the day. I read those. But yeah, I didn't really glom on to Spider-Man. I was done. But then again, done with X-Men as well. I did not like Josh Whedon's run, and I was like, I'm out.
Think about how bad most Marvel comics were in the Bill Moss era. When they said costumes, secret identities, supervillains, Scott Baio. Can we get him in another story? Yeah, I said he was literally more Marvel comics than Doctor Doom one year, and yeah, because they were celebrity obsessed. That Ron Zimmerman, rest in peace. They let him write. They were letting him write books. And I said so. Quesada, for all of his faults and future faults, he saved, and not just with Marvel Knights, he saved them a second time by putting the universe back together and basically telling a 6-year story that worked. And unfortunately, I said, Heroic Age kind of started to undo it, and within 2 or 3 years, they were an all new, all different, all terrible.
2013 is when Marvel stopped producing comics.
I said 2012, but yeah, I've used that, consistently over the years when I do my Marvel epitaph. But yeah, and as I said, at this point, like I said, there's nothing either company can do to bring me back. It's over for me.
It's done.
Are
you've still got? We talked about this. You still have trade paperbacks and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like I said, I'm still going to get the Legends Omnibus and the Batman Bronze Age Omnibus. But as far as it's not that. I mean, Dick Tracy, I'm sure still fine. Flash Gordon, I don't know if Space Ghost is still being made, but it's just I don't do. I'm not good with just doing. I'm kind of like an in for a penny, in for a pound.
Yeah.
So,
that is very much I don't want to go into a comic book shop, because the last time I went into a comic book shop, I put my family at risk. Not all at once, but what happens is, I'm only going to collect Teen Titans, Legion, Batman, Superman. Okay, fine. And then Superman crosses over here. Okay, let me pick up this book. And then next thing I know, I've got a pile. I can't afford this every month, especially now that it's $5 to $6, $7 a pop. So, you know what? Oh, and here's something that came up recently again because of Read Comics Online being taken. Yo ho, yo ho. That's the way I read a lot of comics.
So did I tell you that? Yeah, I've bought in the last 6 months. I bought the Brubaker. It's the story that's supposed to get you whet your appetite for the criminal series. That I'll believe it when I see the first episode, and even then, I'm not sure I will. It's your New Mutants, or it's my New Mutants, I guess. Anyway, I bought that, and I bought the second night, the sequel to that Dan Jurgens thing, the magazine size, and a buddy of mine gave me the first issue, so I bought the second and third. So I think that's it as far as books I bought. Guess what he gave me the other day?
Huh?
The other two. So I bought 4 books, and I get 2 of them gifted to me later.
Well, that's nice.
No, it wasn't. I already had them.
Uh,
So it's anyway, but
thought that counts.
shifting. Oh yeah. He gave me a couple series, like a Dave Lapham series that I'm going to read. But and he gave me like a Local Man omnibus. That was probably $100 when it came out. When he's done with them, he's done with them. But did I ask you if you were watching Widow's Bay?
I do not have any idea what that is.
It's the show. The guy from The Americans is the star, and Stephen Root. I don't know if you know who that is.
I do.
He's a mayor of a like oh God, what do you call those little fishing towns that supposedly has a haunted past, and of course he doesn't believe any of it, but it's all true. It's a comedy horror show that gets both ends of it right.
And what's it called?
Widow's Bay.
Where are you finding it?
It's on Apple.
Apple.
And the last episode was as well done a show as you could possibly ask for. And in case you watch it, I won't spoil it any further. But
well, you mentioned last episode, so I'm going to do this quickly because I know you have zero interest. Watch the final episode of The Boys today, twice. I wanted to watch it quickly, get it out of the way, so if I turn on the computer, nothing's spoiled for me. And then when Gail got home, we watched it again. It was good. It needed. They did the same thing that Game of Thrones did, where they needed 3 or 4 more episodes. There were stories that were built up. There was a side TV show that built up all of the kid heroes like they were going to join the fight. The whole thing is they were building up to something they could never, promises they could never have fulfilled because of TV budgets. With all of the kids from Gen V and the Soldier Boy with his power and the special effects needed, they couldn't have the epic brawl they were actually building up in our heads. I knew this going in. I was a little disappointed with season 5 that they didn't include the kids from Gen V, that they didn't even bother trying to, oh, well, we set this story up, let's follow this and let's go from here. If I were to do the last season, even in episodes, within the episodes, I wouldn't have made it a quest show. They were worried about, oh, got to go get this. We're making this disease that we can release. So all the superheroes would die. But are we going to do that? Are we not going to do that? But we're also trying to stop Homelander from getting this thing that's going to make him immortal. Well, it's made immortal. What are we going to do? Well, this person has this blast. So, okay. But also you've got this person who controls blood and can remove it. Okay, so you've got all this setup. At the very beginning, the world should have already been in peril. At the very beginning of the series, we should have started off. Okay, he wants to become a god. Fine, he gets the V1 in the first episode, and he does real what we saw him do in a dream in an earlier, where he goes swats a big chunk of people, and now it's on. Now you truly have a dystopian future. You have that everybody's afraid. People are afraid to walk down the freaking street. It's like Crime Syndicate in the Justice League, where some guy mentions something and he gets blasted from the JLA Watchtower by Ultraman. No. Okay, here you go. And that's the way it should have been. Instead, it ended up being a quest show, and storylines that were brought up were dropped. So we get the 5th episode, and I realized what this show is going to be, and it provided it. The one thing I really didn't like was they killed the Deep. The Deep is a really Weasley character who should not be alive at this point. Oh, I'm sorry. Spoilers for those of you who haven't seen it. I wish they kept him alive. I just wanted him to stay alive because he is so obviously somebody who should have been dead already. It was okay. It wasn't great, but it closed the show fine. There were great moments. The fight between Billy Butcher and Homelander I liked, so it had its moments, but overall, it was all right. I would watch the series one more time, maybe just to get it all in one lump sum. But yeah, anyway. Let's see. Life's too short to suffer the boys, says Brobarian. Everybody's got their opinions. The only one I pay attention to is mine. Let's see. Just got here. What I miss? Not much. However, Henry, I've got a few modern miniseries of recommendations for his community, says Jackson. Alrighty. Marani saying, I've read The Boys. Yes, it's violent and crass and so forth, but it's not done for shock value if it fits the story and the character, says Maranya. And there you go. All right. Well, that was my review of episode 8 of season 5. It was all right. Now I've got to finish up Invincible. So I actually have never read the Invincible comics. I read issue 1 recently, and it just okay, I guess. I love the TV show. So yeah.
It's an excellent comic. The first 100 issues or so, I think at some point, I don't know if they killed off, I don't even remember, Mark and replaced him with a black dude. But I don't know if they did. I don't know, but I don't know if they killed Mark or if Mark just left. I don't know what happened. But so anybody thinks that Kirkman's virtue signaling is a new thing? No, it goes back 15 years. But it's so I don't know how good those issues were, but given how good the rest of them were, I've got to believe those are excellent also.
Okay.
But I mean, because hell, they made they turned Nolan into a character you could root for.
All right. Oh, hey, what was that all about? You okay there, brother?
Done, that's not easy. No, I hit the back of my throat that I do on occasion, and I have a coffee fix. Yeah, that's a good thing. Good thing I cut my smoking down to a handful a day because I get to cough more.
Well, there you go. Always a silver lining.
Yeah, but I got another recommendation for you. I started watching a show called Legends. It's a little 6-issue British show on Netflix. And I usually don't recommend Netflix, but it's excellent. And
Netflix
watched the whole thing and says it's fantastic. So
Netflix has Blacklist. I just started watching, and that's good. And I've been rewatching Walking Dead. Gail gave up on soap.
Really?
I'm done. She wasn't. So we dropped that a little bit. I'll pick it up at some point in time, but we've been watching all sorts of stuff. Square Pegs. I found a DVD box set of Square Pegs at the flea market for $5. So I put it on, and we've been watching. We've watched 4 episodes of that, and I just noticed it's on Tubi. Like, really, I've been searching for this forever and a day, and it's on Tubi now. Right after I bought it, I'm okay. I love the fact that I got it on DVD.
That's right.
And
kids.
now, say again.
And now Aaron walks around the house going, "I'd like it if they like me, but I don't think they like me."
Yes. Square pegs, square.
I haven't seen that in 44 years, and I still remember that theme like it was yesterday.
I wish they would release. Let's put on Tubi Tales of the Gold Monkey. If anybody remembers that one, that was in my memory a great TV show. I would love to see that one. I noticed it's on Amazon has it, but the reviews are like, bad transfer. It doesn't sometimes work. So we'll see. But I want that one. We watched that. I finally finished Shogun with Richard Chamberlain. Now I figure, okay, maybe I'll see the other one. And you didn't like it?
Oh,
okay,
shit! I thought I was muted.
you didn't like Shogun, huh?
No, I no, I just
Hmm.
was had a sneezing, coughing fit, and I thought I'd muted
Oh,
myself.
oh no, nope, not even a little bit.
Oh well, I clicked it, and it. Remember what happened when I tried to come on the first time? It
Yep.
turned itself back on. I got to be careful with this thing now.
Let's see.
That's what you get for Windows 3.
Barbarian saying, frankly, Garth Ennis is highly praised trash comic writer. He is awful in one note. I could see that. I could see that. I've read the first couple of volumes of The Boys, hoping that it got better. I might try to make it through all the way once. I don't know. Austin is saying, I read issue 1 of The Boys recently. I didn't like it. Don't expect to like the rest, however many more I read. Yeah, I think I'm in the same boat. For a while, I liked the TV show better than the comics. With the TV show, though, it was supposed to be about the way we consume entertainment. And it was really good at parodying that. But at some point in time, the guy just said, you know what? Trump sucks. That's what this is going to be about. But I don't think he realizes that he wrote Homelander like a Democrat. He was trying to say, ooh, the left, the right, the left is good, the right is bad. That was what he was going for. But every time Homelander, who was supposed to be Donald Trump, got mad, he killed somebody. That's lefties, guys. I mean, that's
what the right does.
Right. Of course. Yeah. Okay.
Killing people. Well, when he's not, when he's not, being a file, and they get themselves to where they really believe it, or if they don't believe it themselves, they know they can get enough people to believe it.
Yeah.
And it's projection. It's page 1 of Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals. And I said I said, and then the girl from Supergirl just made me have no interest in watching the movie.
Yeah, we talked about her.
Yeah, I mean, and I think somebody else was doing something too, and it's like and I realize it's never going to change. They are always going to have the power, and they're always going to use it to trash anybody that doesn't agree with them. They'll send their little foot soldiers out there like Millie Adcock or whatever the hell his name is.
The problem, as I pointed out earlier when we were talking about this, is that they go after the audience that kept these characters running for 50 years, 60 years, 100 years.
Much to their chagrin.
Yeah, and then they fail.
There's a new audience out there just waiting to replace them. If they could just get those icky, wrong thinkers out of the way, then all the good people will leave Blue Sky and go actually pay for their entertainment. Well,
when I talked to Tom Brevoort when all of this started, I know he's bringing up Comicsgate. But when I talked to Tom Brevoort back in the day, he said that there is a female audience out there that they're trying to get. I mentioned to him, you don't go and get the new audience at the expense of the old audience. That's what you're doing. You want to keep us and go get them so you have a bigger audience. So the way you guys are doing it is you're trading an audience, and that audience isn't there yet. Oh, but we have numbers here, he says. We have the numbers here that says that women are reading comics. The problem with what he was looking at was that he was looking at numbers that included manga, or however you say it. Not that they were reading comic books, they were reading manga or manga, whatever. Manga, ho there, hi there.
They were going to the movies, so that means they want to read the comics if we made it.
Well, they were reading manga. They were reading manga, whatever. So those numbers showed up in actual book sales, or they were counting Captain Underpants as a comic book. They weren't looking at the fact that this audience was willing to sit there and buy a 22-page comic book for 1/3 of the price they buy a Shonen Jump. So it was a different thing, and they were willing to get rid of the audience they had to switch out, but that audience wasn't there. But one thing I did say, I said, here's the problem. Nobody listened to me because I wanted to win the culture war. The others wanted to make money, and they did. I'm shadow banned. And Ethan Van Sciver, that fucking walrus is, he just got all fucking rich. But so actually, so did Richard Meyer, got his own money, so forth. And so anyway, I'm kind of losing. I went off track, and I'm kind of losing. But the thing is damn it, I lost my point going off on that team.
I'm gonna have to quote Art here.
Go ahead.
Raylan, are you in the general vicinity of a point?
Okay, yeah. What was I talking about? I was talking about. I don't even remember what I was talking about before. Hold on. We read someone who voiced Magnucci. Welcome back, Frank and Alice, in the Barracuda storyline. I appreciate Ennis' writing and sense of humor. Although from what I know about the boys show, the most unrealistic thing is that the government has no interest in using superheroes as weapons. Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Hey, by the
dude,
way,
if they're real,
recognize Magnucci from the Punisher special?
Say again.
Did you?
Oh, you mean in the live action? Yeah.
Yeah. Did you recognize
Judith Light from Who's the Boss? Yeah.
I knew her from the prostitute turned society lady on One Life to Live.
Oh, there you
go.
Yeah,
the mom from Who's the Boss. And the bakery owner was one of the most compelling characters on The Wire.
Yep. Okay.
He was Bubbles.
So I was talking about how he was talking about how that female audience is there, and they wanted to get, but he would refuse the fact that he was getting rid of us. We were the ones in the wrong if we were just accepting what they were writing. I'm like, well, the thing is, you could still have Riri Williams, just put her in her own book. But Iron Man is a bigger, it's a bait and switch. They did not admit fault at all for what they were doing. And ultimately, it just came about that we kept getting blamed for everything. And then, of course, Ethan Van Sciver came in. Nobody paid attention to anybody there. You could not be a rational person in Comicsgate anymore. After Ethan took over, it was done. It was all about what do you call it? The extreme. You had to be crass. You had to be looking for money. Looking for money was more important than the comic book characters. Looking for money was more important than creating comics. I don't know.
Yeah, now that's kind of pretty far in the rearview mirror now. But what isn't?
Oh yeah.
I read a thread the other day of the new breed of comic fans trashing the 2 patriotic issues of Superman.
Yeah.
Because it whitewashed slavery and it was bad.
No, it didn't whitewash slavery. It didn't talk about slavery. There's a difference.
Right. And that's, I said, that's, so it's not feeding the victim mentality of the readers they've spent 10 years trying to get. And each time I see one of those, I go, I kind of wish I didn't have to sell my collection again, but I don't miss, I don't miss comics. And I've read about 1,200 pages of baseball books in the last 10 days. Yeah. It's like 3 full books, and I'm on my 4th. It's just, I just don't. It's ruined for me. I mean, that's fine. I mean, I'm 64. I'm not their audience anymore. But at least the 2 companies are. I would say DC has never been paying more attention to their past than they are in 2026, and good for them. Marvel's still pumping out the Epic collections and the omnibuses, like that. So they're giving their fans something to go back to. Yeah, because I think there's people there that realize that there's still money to be made on our generation that they know they've lost with the monthlies. So they're at least trying to get our money somewhere else, and so at least they're doing that. But yeah, as far as like the new stuff goes, I mean, I said I just can't work up any interest.
I've got to tell you, I try occasionally. Like I have some books. I got some books, and I started reading. There's nothing that says to me that I need to continue collecting these. There just isn't.
No, do you remember there was when you would get a stack of books every week? There was okay. I realize there have been 4 or 5 different new release days since I started 50 years ago. We'll stick with Wednesday for this. There was the Wednesday pile, and by that I mean you weren't gonna wait a day to read it. You're gonna read these the day you got them.
Right. Yeah.
It doesn't exist anymore. I mean, maybe it's because we were younger, but I would say also because they were better. Because in the pre-writing for the trades, you would have continuing stories, but they were stories not because they were decompressed, was because they had so much story to tell it wouldn't fit in the one issue. Hell, a 6-issue trade now would fit in one monthly comic in 1978 because it wouldn't take a guy 2 pages to fall off the side of a freaking building.
Yeah. That, by the way, that is a joke I told for a long time, and
That's why I
stopped being a joke. Yeah, it stopped being a joke because if you look at a page of an older comic book, and this, by the way, is something also I've been saying for years and years and years, almost a decade now. You would see like an X-Men book. They're in a fight and story is happening. You got so much words, so much dialogue, so much thought that you get in what would be now an entire comic book in one page. And nowadays, oh, the guy gets pushed out the window. Panel 1, panel 2, panel 3, panel 4. Okay, next panel, still fucking falling. Turn the page. Okay, now they get back to the story. And it's been like that. It's almost like the company was taken over by the entire comic book industry is taken over by Rob Liefeld in his early Image days, where every goddamn page was a splash page. It gets ridiculous. In an older 1990s, 1980s, you got stories. They were comic books. There was story. There was character. There was character development. Now, you know what? Everybody blames Bendis and Daredevil and all that kind of stuff. It really started with Grant Morrison and JLA, where it was just arc after arc of 4 to 6 issue stories. So, but after that, it was like, okay, we're writing for the, we need to make this story 6 issues. So then they have to put filler in. So I think Jim mentioned he liked Brian Michael Bendis's Ultimate Spider-Man. Have you read recent? There is so much filler in there and so much empty space, I should say, actually. So much nothing. But in
between, I liked it. But it was modern storytelling. Now, Henry just brought up the spinner rack, how great things were. You know the main reason why they'll never bring the spinner rack back?
Mint condition?
Yep.
Because all those ticks.
Yep. But I don't remember caring about that in 1976.
Lord of Brooklyn said, Joe Quesada made a statement before he left publicly. We changed comics for you. We waited and you never came. Let's see. Let me scroll up here. You don't push away the old audience while trying to get into it. I read that one. That new one's guaranteed or don't exist. I've largely distanced myself from the culture war. It just feels pointless nowadays. It feels rehashed, tell you the truth. And I took a shot, but I don't actually disrespect what they do. But Perch, I think Perch actually, didn't he do a video talking about, I haven't seen it yet, but didn't he have a title and a thumbnail that said it happened in one page? Did he do a video about how in the past they could do one page worth of an entire book's worth of story nowadays? Did he do that?
I don't watch this stuff anymore. It's
Wes did. I mean, the thumbnail, the title of this is the beginning of the middle of the end of Marvel Comics. We mean it this time because, as I said, Wes is the beginning of the end of Marvel. You have thumbnail after thumbnail of the Marvel is dead. You know, I get this. I get this. It's rehashed. We've talked about this. Me, Rich, Phil, Captain Frugal, Doug Ernst, even before he lost his mind, Richard Meyer. All of us have talked about all of this before. It's been done.
Okay, but what he was talking about today didn't exist when you guys were having your heyday.
What was it?
He was talking about basically, it was the things that DC are doing to increase their audience versus the nothing Marvel is doing.
Okay, yeah. So I just read the title. I did not see the video.
Yeah, the pocket. Like those DC compacts. Marvel tried it, but they did it. I guess they abandoned it almost immediately. But DC. He was saying how. He also pointed out that DC, if they had a brain in their head, would start doing the absolute books in those compact styles also. But I think honestly, I didn't think so 5 years ago, but I do think we might be around for the end of the monthly floppy. I think you might see it go to all trade, all digital. It's at some point, in the next 5-6 years, because Marvel raising their prices again, that's not going to increase sales. And you've been courting an audience that doesn't have money for years, and raising the prices on people that don't have money, not a winning strategy. And I think that they'll find like like the manga model, the Shonen Jump or whatever it's called. Like I said, those larger formats, I think you can see, but I don't know. We may not. The monthlies might be on the clock finally.
Oh, maybe.
I mean, they don't do it because what? Also, nobody wants to admit this, but the companies that produce the comics have never had a stake in the back issue market.
Yeah,
they obviously have a stake in the trade market, but when you're not doing anything to produce the next generation of collectors, that also shrinks the pool. And eventually you're going to keep shrinking that pool until there's not enough pool left to fill.
I brought up earlier that I don't think people, a lot of people, anyway, most of the people who call themselves collectors now just look at key issue. I'm always at the flea market, and I see these people that are going through the back issue with their phone. Like, just look at the fucking cover.
Yeah, that's.
If it looks good, pick it up.
Well, I think they're also doing a lot of price comparisons and whatnot, but also, But you know what? You know what you see at shows that for the people that don't do that, but are actually, have comic book collections and not comic book key collections.
Yeah.
If they're shopping at Marvel or DC, they're shopping the original runs. Once they stopped those and started start, stop, most collectors just ignore those.
I stopped doing it And when I was collecting digitally, I told you in about 2010, 2011, a friend of mine said, "Hey, have you been to this?" It was a Chinese kind of Temu sort of thing, right? And they had comics on DVD, and one guy, literally, it was like $25, $30, somewhere around there, had everything. I mean, everything. And so I was like, oh, okay, well, let me get this. And I had everything up until about 2011, whenever it was. Didn't matter what it was. Superman, Batman, Our Army at War. I've got them on disc somewhere. I could sell you guys the entire Marvel and DC universe if I didn't want to get messed up by eBay or whatever. But then I started to try to continue it. You know, go to whatever I could find, download here, download there, whatever. And I was like, you know what? No, I'm done. Because is it Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 or is it Volume 4? Is it 5? I don't know what it is. I don't know where I'm collecting. I don't know what it. And I'm done. You know, I don't care. As soon as they bring out number 1, I don't care about the previous set. I didn't want to collect it anymore. I didn't want to. Now, of course, with some, I just never would have done it physically anyway. And now that I'm selling comics, I have very little faith that anybody wants to buy anything from 2013 up. If I have modern day comics, it came in a collection that had other comics with it. It's just the way it is. Let's see, Barbarian. I'm on my second month for $2 of Marvel Unlimited. I am reading Ghost Rider in the 90s 2099 comics. I don't touch the new stuff. Have no interest. See? Austin, I got 2 interesting free comic book day books, an epic fantasy version of The Wizard of Oz and Conan book, and they were pretty good, though not good enough for me to want to keep them in my collection. At Eric Breen from Henry, I was done with new stuff 35 years ago. That's why the spinner rack era was the shit. Closer to the heart, always will be for me. Glad I was there. I've been falling for 30 minutes. It's the Bill and Ted Darn Bogus Journey. Want to play 20 questions? Yeah. Let's see. The 80s checklist and early 2000s checklist was incredible, says Lord Brooklyn. The books were better in the spinning rack era as well. Characters, art, story. Perch speaks like Bendis writes. 50 minutes of nothing. Come on. He's not. Look, I go off on Richard for that one. I know a lot of you lost any kind of love for that man. Even in the beginning, I can't watch his videos. The video says Aquaman number 15 review. Well, I was walking down the street and I saw a hot dog vendor, so I decided I was going to go get a hot dog. So I stood in line for the hot dog, and there was a guy in front of me, and in front of him was a woman, and in front of her was another guy, and the guy was there, and he ordered a hot dog, and he asked for mustard and sauerkraut on it, and he stood there. He says, "Oh, well, give me a Coke as well." And then I was 2 people were in front of me, and the woman, she was there, and she didn't know if she wanted a hot dog or a pretzel. So she was asking, is it better for the pretzel or is it better for the hot dog? But then she ended up saying, hey, why don't you let me get a pretzel, but with mustard and ketchup on it, which I thought was gross because who puts ketchup on a pretzel? And she grabbed it, but then she came back and she goes, no. And I thought, well, lady, now you're out of line. You got to wait your turn, right? But she didn't. The guy turned around. She said, let me get a hot dog anyway. The dude, she goes, sorry. And the dude in front of me said, it's okay. I didn't think it was okay because if you're going to do that, you got to get back in line. And then the guy in front of me, I was thinking, okay, well, now I'm almost there. He's going to order. But then he ordered hot dogs for the entire office. And I was afraid I'm not going to get my hot dog. Because that guy ordered a whole bunch of hot dogs. And I thought it was going to take forever because he started putting ketchup on them, but he only put them on a few. So I was thinking, okay, maybe I will get some ketchup with my hot dog if there's any hot dogs left. And so he was there, and then he ordered a lot of sodas. I think he ordered all of the sodas. I don't really drink sodas, so I just get a water bottle. And when he left, I was there, and I was like, do I even want a hot dog now? Because I've been standing here, and I'm not as hungry as I was before. but I got a hot dog. Aquaman 25 was okay.
I have a question.
What?
Did you lose any viewers while you were doing that?
I have no fucking clue. I didn't look at the number. I think I actually gained a couple. It went from
And
11 to
that's
15.
why
now.
he did it.
There you go. Yeah, I know, right?
It was probably more interesting than Aquaman 25.
Well, no, but the Aquaman 25 at the time was Dan Abnett shit, and that was good. But yeah, that to me, that is, by the way, I did make up all that in my head as I went, but that is exactly a Richard Meyer video to me.
No, it wasn't, because as it pointed out, you didn't cough at any point.
Oh, there you go. There you go. I forgot to cough.
I want to bring up one more thing before I bid this stream adieu.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys talk about the Betty Boop kerfluffle?
Okay. The history is true. Betty Boop was originally supposed to be based on a black woman. Now, if they tell the story of how this black woman inspired Betty Boop, A-okay. 100% A-okay. But if they're doing a Betty Boop cartoon brought to life and they have her play Betty Boop, not as okay. Because Betty Boop, in spite of being inspired by, is black. Now, here's the thing. All righty. Okay, I'm a racist for saying that. I get it. All right, let's move on, because I don't give a fuck anymore about somebody calling me a racist. It literally means nothing anymore. It is a word with no definition anymore. It truly, truly means nothing. So let's talk about this. Here is the big racist aspect of what we're talking about. There are black characters. Now, this is only if they're not having her play the person inspired. If they are literally having her play Betty Boop, here's the problem. There are black stories that are not getting told, so you can race swap white stories. That's the racism. Done. That's all that needs to be said about the whole fucking thing, because that is where the racism lies. Not in the people saying, wait a second, Betty Boop is white. No, but the history, yes, you're right. If they're talking about the origin of Betty Boop, but I would love, by the way, I would love to see more origins of characters. I mean, they've done fucking Flaming Hot Cheetos. They've done the Blackberry. They've done Tetris. They've done pinball. For fuck's sake, Jerry Seinfeld did a movie about the creation of the fucking Pop-Tart. You can't tell me there's a movie to be made in the creation of Popeye or Betty Boop or Superman, which I think they actually did do a TV movie of. So yeah, I'm okay with the whole thing about her playing the woman who inspired Betty Boop. I really am. But
I don't care if she plays Betty Boop.
It is Betty Boop is a white character. There you go. All right. No, finish what you're saying then.
No, I said I don't care. I said one thing. Betty Boop is remembered by about 0.36% of the world at this point.
Yeah.
If somebody likes the character enough to want to do it, and the girl that they got to do it, could probably pull it off with the chipmunk cheeks, I'm fine. It's not going to be a success anyway because it's Betty Boop.
Yeah. Well, okay, I'm going to back up on just a little bit. I worked at Alfred Hitchcock, The Art of Making Movies. And right next to us was I Love Lucy. And it was a tribute to I Love Lucy. And it had an I Love Lucy store. But half of the I Love Lucy store, you go through the front, it's I Love Lucy. When you get to the back, which I always thought was weird because the back had the displays and all the camera setups and scenes from I Love Lucy. But the back of the store was a Betty Boop store. And that fucker made money. I mean, people love Betty Boop. Maybe they don't know the character, but they love the merchandise. So I will back it up on that. I have seen it happen. Don't forget to tell us.
To be accurate, black or white, you have to get someone with an unusually large head in proportion to the body.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
So where's that outrage going to come in?
Yeah. Mentioned he worked at Alfred Hitchcock. Drink. Yep. There you go. There you go. Anyway, goodness gracious, this has been a show. We've done 2.5 hours, or I've done 2.5 hours. Yeah, I'm going to actually stop it here, as a matter of fact, because I am getting hungry and I don't want to miss out on the Taco Bell. I don't know if it's 24 hours or not. It's either Taco Bell or Cook, and in all honesty, I just don't want to. Yeah. Anywho, what's going on tomorrow? Do you know what anybody's doing tomorrow?
I think Maranya, myself, and Vegman are reading something.
Okay. Over at Geeky Pup Show, it's probably something that the Lester sisters cannot do because they're busy on Thursdays.
Well, so we did something that I didn't even feel comfortable reading.
What was it?
Barracuda.
Barracuda.
Everything that made Welcome Back Frank so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
Barracuda was too in your face.
Okay.
It got better, but it's almost like halfway through the story, Garth Ennis said, "Hey, I may want to use this character again, not going forward because you don't survive encounters with Punisher unless you're Jigsaw." But so he kind of like softened him a little bit as the story went on, had him swear a little less. And he actually did do a Barracuda miniseries where he was sort of like the anti-hero, but it was so crude in places that it was like, and even I didn't want to read it. I started censoring myself as a bit to make it worth doing.
Right. I haven't read Barracuda in forever. Anyway, guys, tomorrow then, I guess on the Geeky Pup Show, go check out the reading. And on Friday night, I might do a live stream beforehand because I do enjoy doing these. Plus, I invited Dom on. He hasn't showed up. Maybe he'll show up on Friday. But at 10:30, we are doing Iron Man comics, comic book covers, and I am 100% sure Miss Maranya will make an appearance for ranking Iron Man comic book covers. We're doing the annuals. All right. So please join us for that at 10:30. And of course, we have an auction of comics on 8:30 on Saturday. I have no idea what's going to be in there. I just do not know. I know I've got some books waiting to go in over here, and I know I've got some coming at some point in time. But at this point, I'm up in the air. It might even be until Saturday because I know some of them are supposed to come on Saturday. But that being said, thank you very much for hanging out. I hope you enjoyed the conversations, the arguments, and the rants. And as always, thank you very, very much for watching.